Well, folks, we have another episode for you of Dad Boss. This is Abby and I sitting down taking your questions, and we are overwhelmed by the success and the downloads and the response of the first episode of Dad Boss. And to that end, we thought, well, let's go ahead and record another one with some questions. So Abby went out to her social media and got some questions from girls that she and I go back and forth on. Some were for her, some were for me. I think it was a lot of fun. Now, please excuse the audio. So we went over and we did this at her house in Dallas. And look, a producer, I am not. We were going to try to, we had video for this, but I screwed up and pressed slow-mo. So the whole thing, the camera that was on me is in slow-mo the whole time. And she looked great. And maybe we'll post some clips from her. And anyway, and then also for some reason, there was some mic bleed. I used my old H6 recorder and there was a little bit of mic bleed. So you'll hear at times where it sounds like my voice kind of echoes a little bit, but I think the content is still there. It's good. I think you're going to enjoy it. So I'm so happy that you're here. I'm going to go ahead and release this one on the Jason Wright Show, but good news. We are actually, due to the response and the encouragement of so many of you, we are going to start a new podcast called Dad Boss. That's right. Abby Neilson and I are going to start a podcast. We think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we want to hear from you. We want you to be on it. So if you want to, for right now, if you have any questions that you want answered on the show, or if you may want to appear on the show, we would love to hear from you. We would love to have you as a guest, and you don't have to come in the studio. You don't have to come to Abby's house. We're going to do some virtual interviews. We're going to do some in person. We've got it all planned out. So don't worry about that. Shoot me an email at producer@textitans.com. Producer@textitans.com. Questions. I want to be on the show. You guys are awesome. We'll take that too. And so please communicate with us. We're really excited. So anyway, enjoy this episode of Dad Boss. This is episode number 2. And thank you so much for listening. Again, don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. Thanks so much. Enjoy. All right.
Wait, do we need to start it?
We're starting.
Oh, okay.
We're done. Do you have the questions?
I do. They're right here.
All right. So are you going to just read them off, like the ones that are to you, the ones that are to me?
Yes, and then I'll...
Wait a minute. Before we get started.
Should we do one you, one me?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Okay.
And shouldn't we be talking about where we are?
Oh, yes. Hi, everyone. We are in Highland Park, Texas at my new house.
The new crib.
The new crib.
I haven't even taken a tour of it yet. I just came in.
He set up. My production team, Jason, has been setting up tirelessly all morning.
Yeah.
And I just moved in. We're in the new house. I just moved in on Monday. I'm going to be here for at least 2 years. So that's exciting. I'm excited to make this house a home. Obviously, we still have a lot of work to do. And my roommates are moving in, hopefully within the next couple weeks. So it'll be a lot prettier probably next time we shoot, but that's where we're at for now.
I think it's kind of perfect though for the Dad Boss.
I think it is too. And maybe I'll give y'all a house tour.
Yeah. And, yeah, absolutely. This will be like the studio tour. And the cool thing is, it's really close to Siddell's.
It is. It's like literally less than a 10-minute walk, which was a real high selling point for me. I'm renting, but it was a high selling point for me.
Well, so I guess, is this going to be like the first episode of like the standalone? It's official. The Dad Boss is a real thing now. By the way, those of you who listened to the first episode, it blew up. It
did.
And so we did it. We released it as an episode on the Jason Wright Show. And I can tell you it was by far one of the most downloaded episodes that I've ever done. And I've been at this for 8 years. So I think we actually hit on something. So thank you guys who have listened and shared it. And so anyway.
And I just want to say, like, the texts that I've gotten from girls that I like randomly that have followed me on Instagram, from sorority recruitment to college to post-grad to finding us on TikTok. There's so many audiences that I've had that have reached out to me just saying how much they love it. And that literally means the world, because it was just going to be something fun that we've talked about for like a year. And I didn't think it would be this much of a hit. So I'm excited.
Well, with that, let's get started.
Let's get started.
So we've got some questions, right?
Yes. So I put on like my close friend story on Instagram, which it's all girls. If you're a girl and want to be on it, DM me. But I put in a question box and I was like, these are questions for Jason and I. And I also put in topics and everybody kept saying dating. And so I was like, okay. And Jason has really been wanting to do an episode over this because he listens to me and Josie talk about our dating stories, and he's always just tickled.
Well, we've got to do an entire episode just on Josie's dating stories. They are
they're awful. Like, poor girl has been through the ringer. I don't even know. Like, I didn't even know there was that specimen of men out there.
Did I tell you about her donut story?
Yes.
So that's my
Josie
favorite.
Told me too.
I don't want to tell it
because I want her to tell it.
Yeah, she's got to tell it because one, the stories are amazing, and Josie telling them is like so money. So
it is.
I can't wait to tell the donut story.
So we'll have Josie. But yes, should we just start it off?
Let's do it.
Like, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to say in our intro. Okay. So they said the questions were pointed to either Jason or myself. So we'll let Jason answer one and then I'll do one and we'll go back and forth. We each have 4. So
let's do it.
It's perfect. All right, Jason. What is a non-negotiable or non-negotiables in your marriage?
So non-negotiables, there's several. One is you don't go to sleep without a goodnight kiss. One that Jim and I have actually just started, we put into practice this morning. She wouldn't let me leave until I gave her at least a 5-second kiss. So there's actually research that says that couples who at least kiss for 5 seconds before departing with one another live longer.
Oh, and you're all about longevity.
I'm all about longevity, so that fits into my whole longevity deal.
I love it.
Another thing is, I mean, I would say that I'm a big believer in the whole idea of don't let the sun go down on an argument or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But Jim and I just really don't argue. I mean, and I know that sounds so cheesy and everything, but we don't. But I do have some thoughts on that. If we did get in an argument, I think that statement needs to be altered a little bit. I think it's okay to press pause on an argument.
Yeah.
I think the thing is we can say, okay, look, this is not resolved, but we got to get our sleep. Mm-hmm. And in the morning's a new day, and we're going to pick this up again. It's not sweeping it under the rug. So that would be a non-negotiable. A really kind of silly little non-negotiable is that on Sunday mornings, we have the same coffee mugs. Have I told you about the coffee mugs?
I don't think so.
Okay. Really, really quick. I'm a big believer on routines and rituals in marriage. I think it's very important that you, and this could be the same thing if you're engaged and you're moving towards marriage or whatever, but I think that if you have little traditions, rituals that you guys follow, it's so important. And one of mine and Jimlin's is for our wedding gift, a friend of hers gave us these cheesy little coffee mugs that say wifey and hubby. They're kind of cheesy. But somewhere, like really early on in our marriage, those became our Sunday morning mugs. And so every Sunday morning, we drink out of those same coffee mugs.
Cute.
Every
That's
Sunday.
So
And only on Sundays. They are not used during the rest of the week. They only are used on Sunday mornings. And there have been times where it just, for some reason, just slipped my mind. Like if I try to bring Jimlin coffee in one of our regular mugs on a Sunday, she's like, yeah, what's going on here? So those are some little non-negotiables that may seem inconsequential, but they're pretty important.
Yeah, I love that. And I can definitely tell, like from what I've seen too, like y'all do stick with all your non-negotiables because y'all preach them to us too.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, I guess one question that they had for me is, what is one dating opinion you've changed your mind on since you've gotten older?
Because you're so old.
So old. Oh, by the way, I should probably preface this. I've never had a boyfriend.
We're lucky. So, all you guys out there.
No, so take this with a grain of salt, what I'm saying. But my qualifications are, I have been around a lot of amazing and good and Christ-filled relationships. Like, I do surround myself with a lot of people who are in very healthy, strong relationships. So I will say I know what the good and the bad looks like. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad. Like, I feel like I have so much, like, I have the qualifications on this because I've seen it. I might not have lived it firsthand, but I've seen it, and I've got to be the person on the outside that sees both sides. That's my qualifications for this, guys. Take it with a grain of salt. But anyways, so the question, what is one dating opinion you've changed your mind on since you've gotten older? In my almost 24 years of life, I think there's two, honestly. And one of them is, and I was just reading about this the other day, is like the whole thing where it's like, well, as he should. Like growing up, it's like, yeah, as he should. He should do A, B, and C. He should bring you flowers. He should, whatever it is. But like, no, he shouldn't. If you aren't being the person that deserves that, he shouldn't do that. If you were and it's vice versa. Like, if you are someone who constantly belittles him, constantly is trying to motivate him in like a demeaning way, or if you're constantly discouraging him, then he should not do those things. You have to be the girl that they would want to do that for. Like, I see some girls that are just awful, awful girlfriends, and they get mad at their boyfriends for not, rewarding, it's not a reward, but for not, doing those things and putting in the effort. And I'm like, well, would you put in effort to somebody that treats you like crap? No. So I think that's a big one that I used to be like, well, as he should text me first, as he should do that. No, he shouldn't. Like, you have to be the person to receive that. Second of all, this one is very controversial. I have friends that do not agree with me on this, but but I feel like once I explain it, it will make a lot more sense. And that is the fact that the guys should initiate the first move. And that is with just the reach out. I think our generation has done an awful, awful job at giving guys confidence. We now, like, I get it. Guys are scared to come up to girls because all they see are these girls that are, going like this, not giving them the time of day, being so rude to them for just like reaching out. We have literally just belittled men, and that is so awful. And that half of that's from social media. And you see like these girls that there'll be good men, sweet, sweet boys coming up and approaching them. And because they might not find them attractive, they just like laugh at them and walk away. So like, yeah, guys have no confidence. So they're obviously not going to always be the one to come up and like, I guess, initiate the conversation. But I think that as a woman in this day and age, you can always let the guy know you're interested. You don't have to initiate the getting their number. That should be on the guy because that's just a part of pursuing a woman, which I think the man should do more than the girl. I think the man should always pursue more than the girl because in the Bible it says we are the missing rib. So therefore, they should pursue you more. You should pursue them as well, but the woman should always be more pursued. But with that being said, I think there's no problem with you letting the guy know you're interested. And that could be either, which this is so awful and I hate even saying that, but like a story like on Instagram, because that's how you, now that with social media, that's how you show the initiative that you are interested. I like everyone's stories, so I feel like I'm awful to do that. Like I'm always, if like a guy friend does something good, I'm going to be liking the story and vice versa. So I think it just depends on your relationship with the person. If it's someone new, obviously they don't know that about you. So like, just like it. But also you can be the girl to just go up and be like, hey, I'm Abby Neilson, and then introduce yourself. And then now you've put the ball in their court. They know, or you can always have someone like mention to them. And that's the thing. You need to be surrounding yourself with people that will set you up with good people. You can always mention, be like, hey, I have a friend, Abby, like, here's her number. Yeah. And then the ball is in his court. Like now he gets the chance to pursue you, but now he has the confidence going into it that he knows like, oh, I might have a chance. Yeah. Like guys are so scared now to pursue a woman because of how scary we are, which makes sense because I've seen so many girls just downright belittle guys. And like, I will have guys come up to me that I just know, like, they're just not my person. They're great guys, but just not my person. And I'll be like, like, I just don't see that for us, but keep pursuing girls like this. Like any guy that's ever come up to me at the bar, if I like will say like, I'm just not interested right now, or I'm just, whatever, I'll always be like, but keep going up to girls. Like, that is amazing. Keep going up to girls. Like, you will find your person. So I feel like that's the dating advice I've always heard that I think should be debunked. Like, that it's actually awful. But I'd like to hear your take on that.
Well, I like a lot. First of all, I want to give you a compliment on the whole no boyfriend thing. I think a lot of that is because you have, sometimes I get onto you because I think you've got, and I get onto you, but I don't get onto her. I challenge her for having unrealistic expectations at times. I think you're a little hard on dudes, but that's okay. Because one of the things I tell you, like I tell my daughters, is basically don't settle.
Yeah.
2 words, don't settle, girls, don't settle. And same for the guys out there, don't settle, and so I think that you're to be commended for that. I do have very strong opinions on this, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that men, and you're right, this is going to be a controversial statement, and but it is what it is. And girls, either you take it and leverage it to your benefit, or you just get frustrated and never listen to the dad boss again. There has been a marginalization of men. Men have been marginalized. And I'll give you an example of how this happened. I don't think it was purposeful. I think a lot of it was when we started seeing more women in the workplace and more women taking their place in executive positions and that sort of thing. Rightfully so. We wanted to shape society in a way where they fit into a world that had been kind of built around men, right?
Yeah.
And so the whole girl power, girl boss, all this really blew up. There is a book by a gentleman named Warren Farrell, and it's called Boy Crisis. Warren Farrell was the only man, if I'm not mistaken, on the board of directors for the National Association of Women. Now, and during the Obama administration, he went to the White House because now was leading this big, it was a summit and an initiative for this sort of thing, kind of the girls initiatives. How do we shape young women in the workplace, in the professional work setting? And Warren Farrell asked a question, not controversially. I mean, this wasn't like a Jordan Peterson or something like that. He was on the board of the National Association of Women. He was truly curious, and he asked the question, this is great, do we have anything like this for boys?
Mm-hmm.
And he said that one, no, was the answer. No, we don't have. And then it was like, kind of like, why would we?
Yeah.
Why would you ever? And so as a result of this thinking that, we've got to put all the focus on making sure women have their place where we consider the right place in society.
Yeah.
Men just kind of got left by the wayside. Then you go to the Me Too movement, and you go to college campuses. I mean, you were in college not too long ago where they had this whole quote unquote rape culture and all that, and all these things kind of just mounted into toxic masculinity, all these buzzwords. Feminism just kept coming up, and then the idea of what it meant to be a good, strong woman.
Yeah.
I think it just all meant that basically the woman, it wasn't equality. It became women were superior
Wanting to dominate men.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think as a result, Scott Galloway, professor at NYU, he talks about this a lot. What it's done is it's left men kind of like confused, listless. And so I would say to the guys out there, this is good advice, especially coming from you. I mean, in any girl out there, it's like, the right girls, I'm going to kind of ask you a question after I make this statement. I think the girls want to be pursued.
Yeah.
They want to go out with guys. What is healthy pursuit? You kind of touched on it a little bit, but like a dude comes up. What is kind of like if you could draw the playbook to say, okay, here's the approach. Here's what a green flag looks like, but that your approach is successful. What does that look like so that the guy is respectful and all the rest? What does that look like?
I feel like it depends on where you're at. If you are in a setting where you were out in a place where you're drinking, do not approach a girl if you will not remember it the next morning, one.
Oh, God,
And
that's great
two,
advice. I love
if
that.
you are slurring your words,
Yes.
like you need to be in your best self. If you need a little liquid courage, I get it. But do not come and approach me if I can smell it on your breath, or if it's like you're, if I can tell you're drunk, I don't care how cute you are. That is the most unattractive thing ever. On the first time, obviously, whatever. So I think the perfect approach to this is so hard because there's so many ways you can go about it. I think you just go up to them and you're just like, like, hi, I saw you for across the room or whatever. I would love to get your number and, get to know you. That's all you got to say. You don't have to say take you on a date. You don't have to say anything. Just be like, I'd love to get to know you. And then you get their number. You send a text right there with your name. Like you send a text right there to me, giving your name, and then you follow up if it's late at night or if it's before 8 p.m., you follow up that day. If it's after 8 p.m., you follow up the next morning. Like, do not wait a couple days. You need to follow up because, first of all, it leaves the girl, especially in like insecure girls, that's all they're going to think about. And all you're doing is making her form an anxious attachment to them, which some guys think is great. And so I would say if you're doing like a first time, like approaching someone, just go up and be like, I saw you, like compliment them or whatever, which you don't have to, but I know a lot of girls love that. Compliment them, ask them for their number. Do not, guys, literally, please do not ask for their Snapchat. We are so over that. I had someone ask me that this weekend and I looked at him and I was like, you're so sweet. Like he really was the sweetest guy ever. You're so sweet. Do not ask me for my Snapchat. And I'm going to help you out. Don't ask another girl for that.
Wait, now help me out because I'm the old dude in the room. Why no Snapchat? When did that become
that is childish. Do you want to communicate through someone through social media?
Yeah, no.
Like,
okay.
and it's like just sending pictures of yourself. Like that is so like chivalry at dead.
What's so funny, I'm going to tell on Rylan and Abby a little bit, but that's so funny. I'm glad to hear that because let me tell you something. Nothing is more kind of just like, oh my God, are these really my daughters? Is when you drive down the road when they were in like high school and they're in the back seat doing all the faces.
Yes.
You know they're Snapchat.
If you're in high school.
It's so freaking funny.
It's like I use Snapchat mostly for group messages. Like I don't really do, some one-on-one Snapchats, but like if we're sending pictures back and forth, it's like a once a day thing. Right. But I think, if you're a guy, do not pursue a woman through Snapchat. And huge, huge red flag. If for some reason your first form of communication with that guy is Snapchat, and within the first week or two of them starting to pursue you, because a lot of the cases are you already know them, you had them on Snapchat in college, or you add them whenever, and that's how they know how to get to you. If they do not switch that platform to texting, that is I don't want to say red flag, but that is. Like, why are you so immature that you're communicating through social media? I think of Snapchat as the equivalent of you talking to me through DM on Instagram. How weird is that?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I agree.
That's so weird.
I think it's already a problem anyway with your generation in that you guys don't do enough face-to-face interaction.
I so agree. And like, I am someone who I'm going to pick up the phone and call you.
Yeah.
And you're probably not going to.
What did dudes think of that? Are they good with that?
No, that's a huge thing. That's where I was about to get into. I think that like a lot of girls, I'll be like, just call him and ask.
Yeah.
And girls are like, what?
Which
and
is
I'm
awesome,
like,
by the way. That's what I always, whenever Rylan and Abby would have a problem with a dude, I would say, especially Abby. I'm sorry, Abby. I love you, baby doll. You're my goose. I love you. But I would say, have you called him? No. Come on.
That's
just cut the crap. Pick up the phone and just
I
talk.
get it if you're like very early talking stages.
Yeah, right.
But like if this man is just, if you're texting this man back and forth, like if you're sitting here and it's like text, like back and forth, just pick the phone and call him.
Right.
Like there is no need. First of all, if you're on the phone with him, you can see if he's really like, ChatGPT is ruining men.
Yeah, I agree.
And like you don't know if they have plugged in chat. That could not be their personality. He can't ask chat on the phone. Like you need to call Taylor up. I say that all the time. Pick up the phone, call Taylor up and be like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, if I need to reach someone or if I just want to get a quick conversation, I'm just going to pick up the phone and call you. And if that intimidates you, you're not my person.
Yep.
And like, I would never do that within like, you know, the initial talking stages. Like, I wouldn't do that before like you go on a date or like even, but if like, say you're on the way to the date and like something happens, you're like, oh, I'm going to be 15 minutes late. Do not text them. Just call them and be like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm going to be 15 minutes late. Like,
Right.
is that okay?
Yeah.
You know, like you don't need, just call them. And then that's what sucks. Anyways, you need to have their number to do that, ladies. So make sure you're setting your standards high to where they are communicating to you through an actual like iMessage, or if you have an Android, like text messages, phone calls, like, and that's another thing. You should be so confident in the guy you're talking to. If he goes all day without texting you, but calls you at night to like, if he's actually like, if he doesn't have a job, this does not go for him and you shouldn't be talking to him anyways. But if he's like working all day, going to school, and just has the time for a 15-minute phone call or an hour phone call at night, that's okay.
Yeah.
That makes up for all day of not texting you. And I don't think you should be texting someone 24/7 because that just gives you anxious attachment.
Yeah.
Like, you should be checking in throughout the day if you can. And if not, at the end of the day, if you haven't talked to each other all day, pick up the phone and call and be like, hey, I'm sure you've had a long day. Like, how are you doing? Talk over the phone. Like, you'll get a lot more conversation done by then. And also, ladies, I know a lot of us are like, sit here and wait 30 minutes to text someone and be like, should I say it? Should I say it? You don't have time to think about that on the phone. Like, you just truly have to sit there and say it. And I think that is such a good thing to practice, is phone call conversations.
I could not agree more. And one of the things that you said there too, without saying it, is like, if the guy is not texting you all through the day, I know that, again, raising daughters, a lot of times there's this catastrophizing that happens. Like, oh my God, what's going on? Why am I not hearing from him? Instead, ladies, give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
Maybe
seriously.
he is working. Maybe he's someone that's so disciplined that he like keeps his notifications off during the day. He's unfocused time. And to your point, now, if he just blows off your text, doesn't call, well, that's a respect thing. But if he's not just constantly, responding right away, well, then at least give him, and I'd say the exact same thing to a dude, always opt for the benefit of the doubt versus the worst case scenario, because it rarely is the worst case scenario in all your life. That's good.
That's life
good
advice.
for life, is that rarely is it the worst case scenario. Okay, that was good.
Oh, thanks. Okay, so we have back to Jason. What life/dating advice has? Oh wait, I don't want to do that one. Okay, what life/dating advice has stayed timeless?
Is that the one you really want to do?
No, yeah, do that one because that's a good segue into my next question.
Okay, what has stayed timeless? I think just mutual respect. I think, look, I get it with the fourth wave feminism and all this stuff, that somehow, you hear it all the time. The guy says, well, I'm afraid to open a door for a woman these days because she's going to get mad or whatever. I would say that being a gentleman will never go out of style.
Chivalry will never go out of style.
And I want to say something to the guys out there too about this. If you go out, let's say that we've gone through the approach, everything's going well, this dude's like, okay, and it turns into, from the bar, the dude wasn't too drunk, he wasn't slurring his words, Abby said, you know what, here's my number, and y'all go out, okay? And he goes to open the door for you, and you're like, I can do that myself. Dudes, my advice to you guys is to respectfully take note and do one of two things. I don't think you flee. I don't think you say, oh my gosh, this chick's crazy, I'm out. Instead, maybe you say, hey, can we talk about that? Because first of all, I meant nothing by it. I know you can open the door. It's the way I was raised, and it's a matter of respect. Again, benefit of the doubt. Give her the opportunity to say, you know what, maybe I overreacted. You're right. I shouldn't do that.
And you don't know what that girl's been through
100%.
to where someone could, her whole life, she could have had to do everything herself.
100%.
And she could be so independent to where she's like, she doesn't want you to think she needs you to the point to where anything sets her off. But like, she probably needs a man that's going to be like, no, let me do it.
That's right.
And as an oldest daughter, I can tell you that's what most of us need.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like, okay, I want to, because you just, I guarantee you just caught some girls' hairs on fire right there whenever you said it. They're saying, I do not need a man. I guarantee you.
You don't, but
yeah, I want to tell you, because you're right. I think Jimlyn Wright, my wife, who I will brag a lot about a lot on this podcast, so just bear with me, guys and girls. I always say, Jimlyn is not someone who ever needed me, but man, she wants me and loves having me to be the one that, and I do those things. I open the door for her.
Yes.
I cook dinner more nights than she does. I do the things for her, not because Jimlyn needs me.
Yeah.
And ladies, it's okay. It is okay. You don't need the dad boss's permission. You don't need Abby's permission, but I just want you to know, I just want someone out there to tell you, it is okay to say, man, that would be nice.
Yes.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you needy. It just means that you are ballsy enough to say,
acknowledging
it's
the
nice.
fact.
I would like that. It's okay. And so back to that scenario, I think dudes, always be a gentleman. Always default to being a gentleman. Don't assume that she's grown up on Ellen Gurley Brown and, you know, whatever other feminists of the day. Don't assume that. And so I think that's timeless. I think that, mutual respect, meeting each other, you know, halfway. That's one of the things that we'll probably get into at some point when we talk about marriage covenant and stuff. I think a lot of society is geared these days towards what's in it for me. You know, this is all going to be okay, just like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
As he should. Well, an as he should statement is I've defined what he has to give me.
Yeah.
And so everything is a should, as opposed to as I should.
Yes.
I
should be
this person. And kind of, you know, what you said earlier, I think is right. You know, I always tell dudes, I'm like, well, if you want a princess, brother, you better be a prince.
Same for girls.
100%.
If you want a prince, be the princess.
100%. So I think the most timeless thing in dating is mutual respect.
Yeah.
Dudes, be a gentleman. Girls, again, regardless of your worldview, regardless of your politics, regardless of how you were raised, try to give this guy, because Abby has said it, I think you said it really well. In this dynamic, you're both kind of nervous. You're both kind of uncomfortable. You both feel like you've got something to prove to yourselves and to the other. Give each other the benefit of the doubt and be kind. Be very sweet and understanding, because going into a date on defense is a recipe for disaster. If you're just going into it making sure, okay, this is going to be fun, but it's going to be on my terms, and he better not do this or she better not do that.
Yeah.
Come on. Because let me tell you something. That will not work long-term in any relationship.
Another thing I want to add to this is you need to have respect for their flaws.
Ooh, yes.
Because
100%.
I know I'm a very flawed person, and I want somebody who respects my flaws enough to not want to change them, but to want to heal them.
Yeah.
And like not fix them, but use them to their advantage. Not in like a what's the word? Manipulative way. Right. But to like you see my flaws and you respect them enough to make up for those.
100%.
Like I'm somebody who does not have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And I'm praying for that, but when you pray for patience, God will give you something to be patient about. And
like getting a boyfriend?
Like getting a boyfriend. Should not have prayed.
Sorry,
I should not have started praying for that, because no, it's so true, and I'm literally living in that right now. But I know I'm gonna have to marry someone who is okay with that, but that where I lack patience is gonna be the patient parent, the patient person in our relationship that's like, hey, like, you know, this would not, you should not be doing this because you don't have the patience for it, but I do. Or be the one to be like, hey, let's give it 5 minutes. and like, you know, something like that. Like I need someone like that, and I know that, but I need someone that recognizes that. So I think you respect each other's flaws, and you respect each other enough to see their strengths and not want to dim them, but build off of them.
100%. I think that's
So-
one of the things too that like
Almost her note.
we should always reiterate. Like for those of you who are watching that have decided you do want a partner, if you're a dude and you want a girl, vice versa, whatever, that you're going to have to come to a place. And this, we live in a society today, not to be cynical, where everyone is told to live their truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Let me tell you
that
something,
pisses
folks.
me off.
Whenever you're told to live your truth,
Or
first
you
of all,
do you.
yeah, you do you. Well,
Piss me
first
off.
of all, you're going to be doing you alone. If that's the,
Yeah.
at some point, you're going to have to say, part of me doing me is bringing somebody else in that can make me better, and I can make them
Yes.
better, and together, these two people create something that they better than they ever could have been as
Yes.
individuals. And
Yes.
that's not to say that when you're all by yourself, like where you are, Abby, right now, you're a rock star, you're a great girl. And a lot of these girls listening you're crushing it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's not to say you're incomplete. It's not to say you're not enough.
Yeah.
However, there is a world in which if you can find that right dude, to your point, that
Yes.
sees those things in you that maybe even you know are kind of like not flaws but shortcomings, whatever the
Yes.
euphemism that doesn't
Shortcomings.
sound quite good, but he loves you in spite of them and inspires you to be the absolute best version of yourself, which by the way, folks, is very
Very
hard to
important,
do.
yeah.
It's important. It's hard to do by yourself. It is hard. Like I know I can say 100%, Abby, you're talking to a guy that said he would never get married. Done. Not going to happen. No way. No how. And thank God Jimlyn Wright came into my life
Yeah.
because I wouldn't be sitting here doing this podcast with you.
Yeah.
I would not have all these stories. I wouldn't have been the father to Rylan and Abby that I've been.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have just because let me tell you something. Girls, given the chance, one of the things that never changes in men, and this is going to sound so silly, is I'm 51 years old. I still want to show off for Jimlyn. Now it looks
Yes.
different. When I was
Y'all hear
when I was 9 years old, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to show a girl on the playground how fast I
Yes.
could run and
Yes.
all this stuff. Now it looks different,
Yeah.
but dudes never stop wanting to show off for a girl. And what you said earlier is so right. Be that girl. If you want a guy, be that girl that dudes want to show off for
Yeah.
in the right way, right? So anyway.
And I think another thing that you just mentioned made me think of, like, I know, like, I'm very confident, and I say this a lot, and I never know how to say it right, but I hope it comes off right. I'm very confident in the person I am, but I know when I'm with my person, I will be so much better. And, like, I don't think I could be with somebody who doesn't make me better, but challenges me to be better. Like, I don't want someone that's going to let me just settle to be right where I'm at and let me keep falling into the same shortcomings, making the same mistakes, that does not challenge me, that does not hold me accountable. I could never be with someone like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to do the same for you. I'm huge on accountability. You can ask my friends, and it hurts feelings sometimes, like, and I will, but like, that's me trying to hold you accountable because I want you to do that for me.
Right.
And like, I could not be with somebody that does not want to see me be better and does not want to make me better. Even if that means that you have to sit me down and be like, hey, I need you to, do this for me because I need this. Like, please let me be better. I want to be the best wife, the best mother, the best friend, the best daughter that I can be. And if I don't have somebody that's constantly encouraging me to do that, I don't think I could, like, that I am better by myself. Because I'm not better with somebody who's not making me better. Because I could essentially just stay where I'm at. And it would make me worse. Okay, great segue into this one is creating a life that you love before inviting someone else into it. Someone asked me that, and like I said, almost 24 years living the single life, and I can definitely say that I was not creating that life until about a year ago. I was or maybe 2 years ago, I was so wrapped up. I always wanted a boyfriend in like high school and even going into college. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to meet my husband, whatever. But I did not want a boyfriend and that comes with maturity as well. I did not want a boyfriend for the right reasons. I wanted one to just prove that I could have one, that I could, do the cute couple things, go to the date parties with, like all stuff like that. I didn't realize the real value of a relationship. With that comes with maturity. So like, I'm not hating on myself for that. But I was also the girl that we're talking about that's like girl boss, wanted to be like, the highest. I wanted all the men to work for me. Like I wanted, to be like a dominant to a male. That is not how it's supposed to be. And in the past year, like I said, I've been praying for patience, and is the Lord showing me patience right now, but in so many aspects of my life. But with that being said, I have now been like turned to see like I cannot invite someone else into my life until everything doesn't have to be perfect, but until I am the person that I want, the guy that I want to want. Does that make sense? Like I said, I want to be the princess that the prince wants. And I have not been that person until the past year. Not saying I was like doing anything crazy or bad. Like I feel like I've always been a decent human being, but the person that I've became in the last year is someone I'm so proud of, and someone who I know is deserving of that type of guy, because not only have I just chased the Lord so much, especially in the last like year, that has turned my heart to not want to be the, dominant female, but to be, the sweet wife, the sweet Christian wife that wants to be. Like a year ago, if you would have asked me, oh, I'm coming to Dallas, I might get married when I'm 30. No, I don't want kids until I'm 35, if at all. I am so embarrassed of the girl that said that. So embarrassed, because I am somebody now who I want to be that wife. I don't just want to be engaged and married. I want to be a wife. I don't just want to have kids. I want to be a mother. And like, I want to do all of that because of the life I'm creating now and the habits I'm building. So ladies, to answer that question, I would say you need to be so in love with yourself. And that is not in the fact of how you look, but what's inside. Because how you look is exactly how God created you. And that is perfect. Like, someone on this earth was made to love that. Like, that's so crazy. That's what's so crazy to me, and why I have so much faith in like my journey of singleness, because God created somebody who's going to love exactly how I look, exactly who I am. The heart that the Lord is like turning my heart into, someone was literally put on this earth to love that. And that is so crazy to me, because a year ago I would have never even like had that realization. But for the girls that are sitting in their singleness right now, trying to figure out what to make their life look like before inviting someone else into it, the saying, you cannot expect someone else to love you if you don't love yourself, is so true. And I have seen firsthand in myself and in other people, letting people who do not respect them and do not love them come into their lives because they don't have respect for themselves. Like, your body is a temple. The people you let into your circle will dictate your mood, will dictate your performance, will dictate how you take care of yourself, all your respect for yourself. You need to create a life with those people in it, and just your bubble needs to be so self-motivating and I guess, loving. Like, you need to and ladies, we are naturally wired to, look in the mirror and not love everything. And that unfortunately comes with culture, but that's just how our brains work. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, today I'm the most beautiful girl ever, I'm ready for a man. Yeah. You need to be able to, when you look your absolute worst, no makeup, no hair done, your roots are showing, no nails, and you need to be like, I am so worthy of the love that I deserve. And I think that until you are at that point to where you know that having someone else come into your life would only make it easier, that's when you know that you have created a life to let someone come in. And that doesn't mean you have to have the job you want. You have to have, you know, the house you want. You have to have the clothes or anything like that. You just need to be so in love with who you are that inviting someone else in to see that, you see that as a privilege.
I think, okay, you really said a lot there that I think is incredibly important. Okay, so if you look at the whole, like being happy with who you are, and basically accepting who you are, being happy and knowing you're worthy, I think is incredibly important. And here's why. Ladies, if you are looking for a guy to fill some hole in your life. Now, granted, it might be, I want to love some, I want to, that's, as a matter of fact, okay, I'm kind of like working this in my head in a way to say it that's real productive. I would think if you're that person that is what Abby's talking about, you know who you are, you're confident in who you are, and you feel like, and I think that building the life that you want before you get there or whatever, I think instead of just it looking like career, money, finances, all building all that, and then like, okay, I've got all the material things that I want to achieve now, let's bring a dude in.
Yeah.
Versus make it something that's inward. I built my internal life, but that's important because here's the thing that I hear you saying, Abby. If you were someone that's like, I'm lonely, I just need somebody to keep me company, I'm scared, I'm anxious,
I'm insecure,
and I know that if I have the right guy, it's going to cure all that. Holy hell, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, you won't.
That is a recipe for disaster. Is it okay to know in your heart of hearts that a guy is going to make you the best version of yourself? That's cool. But also, he's going to do it by you giving. Not so much, the focus cannot be on what I'm going to get from a husband, what it's going to mean to me. Another thing that I think is really important that you were talking about, how I think for the ladies out there that will naturally find some conflict with, wait a minute, I want to be a strong, independent woman who can do this on her own. And if a man comes along, cool. If not, it's okay because I got this. I want to say to you, those strengths, especially because there's some women that are listening to this that are in investment banking and they're crushing it. They're making $500 a year and killing it. And you know, they're at BlackRock and they're like, hey, bud, you know, I'm outperforming a lot of the dudes that were in my business school cohort or whatever. Yes, you are. Now, so if you find the right kind of guy, he will look at those traits and instead of being intimidated by them, go, man, will it not be amazing to have a woman that is able to redirect some of that strength and power and intelligence and brilliance to be a great partner in life, to be a partner in the private equity firm that is our home, and our raising our children, and that's okay. That's one of the things that frustrates me about our society is that we've placed so much importance on the stuff that dudes have done for a living, the CEO, whatever that looks like, and said, okay, that's the brass ring.
Yeah.
And so it's lessened a homemaker, stay-at-home mom, whatever the proper phrasing for it is now. Whenever, for the love of God, there can be no greater responsibility in this world than shaping little human beings into productive members of society.
Yeah.
I'm call me old-fashioned. I don't think anyone does it better than a mom. I believe that, and so I think it's taking those strengths and it's like you're not giving up on yourself or anything, you're just redirecting it. And I can tell you, as from a man's perspective, again, going back to Mrs. Wright, you know, my wife, she owned our business before I ever came along. She built it herself by the sweat of her brow. I mean, the woman is tiny, but is the strongest human being.
She is.
I know. I mean, she's unbelievable. And let me tell you, as a man, not because I'm like, I can kick my feet up and eat bonbons and go, well, why don't you go make the living? No, instead it's like, okay, as I'm out there slaying the dragons that I slay on a daily basis, whatever those may be, a metaphor for, I've got this partner at home in life with me. I know when I go home, I've got this strong woman that's going to be like, I got you. If you're tired, if you're weary, I've got you.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like, a hug, love, and so.
Well, it's so funny you say that because we were in church the other day, and if you're in Dallas, Texas, I go to the porch on Tuesdays sometimes, and he said, he was like, a man is only as strong as the woman he has on his arm.
100%.
And I, in that moment, knew how some people were going to take that. And then I was like, no, that is so true. Like, a man is only as strong as his wife, because who's keeping that man emotionally intact? Or like, who is behind the scenes, like, running that family? And, you made me think when you said something about, the woman being the CEO and stuff. And you think about, like, one thing I look for in a man is hard work. Like, if you tell me you are flipping burgers at McDonald's and you want to be the best McDonald's burger flipper, that is so much more attractive to me than a guy coming up and saying, yeah, I don't really know what I want to do with my life, but he has a crap ton of money, Like, that is the most unattractive thing ever. If you cannot work hard in that small aspect of your life, you will not work hard in our marriage. You will give up when it's easy. You will give up when there's all these outside unpredictable things come in. And if you say, I don't know, what are you going to do when if we're having a hard conversation in our marriage and you're like, Abby, I don't know.
You're actually revealing what clinical psychologists have shown. There have been studies on this. By the way, dudes, take notes, listen up, because what Abby has just inadvertently said is what all studies reveal when it comes to women and how they look at guys, is that they're not so interested in whether or not you currently have the McLaren and the big house over here in Highland Park.
Yeah.
They're not interested in that. What they're interested in is your potential. If they see potential in you, that's what makes the female species they're so much better in that regard than guys.
Yeah.
Guys, we look for, you kind of got to be what you are now to our liking, and then we'll decide. A woman is intelligent enough to look inside and go, I see where you are today, but I know where you could be, 3 years down the road. And guys, if you can make that convincing argument that, hey, look, this is what I'm doing now. I just started. I'm making $30K a year at this crappy, accounting firm. But let me tell you why I'm learning this specific kind of accounting is because I want to do this thing in 5 years and this thing in 10 years. And so I've got to start here. That's a compelling argument.
But let me add something to that. Ladies, do not date off potential in every other aspect, because that is the only, and you can argue with me, Jason, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. I do not think you date off of potential. I think that's the worst thing you could ever do, except for exactly what you just said in the drive aspect, because they aren't handed everything right now. But what they can have right now is emotional availability. They can have the effort. That you don't have to work your way up to effort.
I love that.
You have that. You do not date off of, he won't get me flowers right now, but I can train him in a year.
Oh,
you shouldn't have to.
No, you're right.
You should date someone that wants to do those things
100%.
for you now.
100%.
You shouldn't date off of the potential. And you also can do this with the way they dress. You can do potential with the way they dress, because I will say you can build a man in the way they dress, but that can be fixed in their drive and the way they dress. Only two things. But you cannot, and that's true. That's true. That's true.
I do.
It's like,
I have very strong opinion of the way dudes dress.
Yes,
I'm like,
but
come on,
not
guys.
everybody was just raised in a way to know how to dress. But that's the thing. You cannot, ladies, there's one piece of advice I can give you. Do not date off of potential and the emotional aspect of dating, because you will always be unfulfilled. You should never have to train a guy to want to do things for you. You should never have to train them how to love you. Now, if I say that, they do have to learn as you go on. You love each other differently through different stages of life, and you learn to love each other and knowing what their love languages are. But you should never have to see the potential in a guy on when we graduate college, now we're just so busy. He doesn't have time to take me on dates and buy me flowers. Okay, well, if he can buy a $5 beer out on Thursdays, he can buy you Trader Joe's flowers because that bouquet was $5 to make.
Right.
Like, I'm telling you, you do not date off of potential except for the things we just discussed. Okay.
And
next
I think
question.
one of the things too that you could say, like to the dudes out there, and this is something I hope that we can bring up on subsequent podcasts, is like communication, which I know it's so much. And guys, listen to this. It's so much easier for me to say because of my age, but if you can get through, if I can get through to you on any aspect, it's clear communication. So again, if you're that guy out there that's able to articulate, look, this is who I am. This is what I'm trying to improve upon. And it just goes so far. And there's a lot of categories where communication is something I think we'll be able to talk about. But I agree with you. Girls, you're not going to change him. You're not going to make him a gentleman. You're not going to make him all of a sudden. And you don't want that. You don't want a guy that brings you flowers because you made him bring you flowers. There's a great. So last night, literally, I was just watching one of my favorite old Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston movies called The Breakup. And I'm going to give you, because you guys haven't seen any of the good movies. So all y'all have seen is all the freaking Avenger crap and Marvel and garbage.
Spider-Man.
So that's all they make now. So in The Breakup, last night, the movie, very early on, Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston, they're a couple. She's making dinner. She's worked hard all day making this dinner for them, and their families are coming over. Vince Vaughn comes home from work, and he was supposed to do one thing, get her these lemons for this lemon centerpiece. And he bought 3 lemons. Like, she just wanted lemons for whatever. And they get into this huge argument, and one thing she says is, like, after the dinner party, it's time to do the dishes. Well, he wants to just play Grand Theft Auto, which is kind of douchey, I think, in and of itself. Guys, get away from the video games.
Do not play video games.
Yeah.
Biggest red flag.
Exactly. And so he's wanting to play Grand Theft Auto. Jennifer Aniston's wanting him to come help clean the kitchen. And she's like, I want you to want to come do the dishes. And he's like, why would I ever want to do the dishes?
I'm serving you.
Right. And so, exactly. And so, ladies, if you've got a guy that's like that literal minded of why would I ever want to wash dishes, and loses sight of the fact that no, if doing the dishes is how I show you support and emotional support right now, you may give him a little bit of runway to try to develop those skills, but yeah, he's
Acts of
probably
service,
who he is. So I'm with you 100% on that.
Should we do one question each?
Yeah. Let's do it.
How are we doing on time?
We may have to miss our next meeting, so it's fine.
Okay.
I'm the employer. He's the...
Yeah. Okay. So, you have 2 really good questions left. Like, I think.
Let's do it.
Okay. So, I feel like I just really segued off of that old question, guys. I hope that made sense. So we're just gonna move to Jason's. Did you have a sec to think about what's considered a red flag in Gen Z dating that's actually a green flag in your generation?
I think assertiveness. I
was going to say that, but I wanted to see what you would say first.
Yeah, no, I think what...
Totally agree.
I think it goes back to where this whole conversation started. I think that, there was a time, and it still exists. This is what makes it so hard for guys, I think. Girls, at the end of the day, I think for the most part, want a man that is confident, assertive, that can take that hand up and go, oh, you high-fiving? Okay, like, now, so can we talk? And help her break that guard down. Let her be a freaking bitch for 5 seconds, but then him just take it in stride and go, come on. Not be a douche, but just be able to take it, because I can almost guarantee you probably 9 out of 10 girls would be like, oh, wait a minute. This guy, right?
Oh my gosh,
so,
yes. Yeah,
so I think that's it. It's just, whenever I was, because we communicated in person.
Well, now girls are like, he's crazy. Or like, that's the thing, is like, guys can't do that. First of all, girls think it's an ick when they try too hard, or when they like them too much, which goes with assertiveness. And I think there's a fine line, and guys don't know what that fine line is. Like, don't be like writing Pookie Bear 9000. Don't do that. I can't get over that. Anyways, we can't. We'll tell you. But like, I think that is way over the line. But I think there is like a fine line of like women think it's an ick, which I hate that word. I hate the word ick. You don't, if you girls, if you get an ick someone to the point to where you don't want to talk to them anymore or don't want to date them, you never liked them in the first place. Like, you should embrace their icks. Like, I'm just saying. Anyways, so with that, totally agree. I think that is a huge problem in my generation with girls thinking assertiveness is unattractive or it's too much. He's being too much. Like, no. He's trying to understand you, and you were just so emotionally immature that you don't know how to handle that. Like, girls that don't like that are emotionally immature.
Right. 100%.
And I will die on that hill.
And I'd say, too, girls, hone your discernment skills.
Yes.
Don't, because that's
before you invite someone in
right,
your life.
because another thing, too, ladies, and guys, too, but for the moment, ladies, a lot of you have developed your worldview based on what you've seen in pop culture and social media. And let me tell you something. The algorithm loves extremes. It does not like discernment and moderation.
Yeah.
So the things that you're going to see is the most intense examples of the ick, or the most intense examples of the beta male that's scared to death of the girl, the most intense examples of a chick being an absolute bitch.
Yeah.
You're very rarely going to see reality, which is you're a human being. He's a human being. You're both trying to figure this thing out. And
a lover boy and a lover girl.
Yeah.
That's what you need. Like, you should be the person you're with. You should want them with you, specifically with you, to be that lover boy, that lover girl. Like, that's how it should be. You should not see that as an ick when a guy's a lover boy.
Yeah.
Like, you should see that as, like, he is a man who is letting me see his
benefit of the
emotions.
Doubt. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
And that is an emotionally intelligent man is the most attractive thing ever.
There you go.
Okay, that was a good one. I love that. Okay. This question, I love this question. I'm living in it right now, and you're going to have so much to say about this, I think. Someone asked how to navigate post-grad / wedding season single.
Ooh.
And you and Jimlyn have, especially Jimlyn, has talked to me a lot about this. So, as someone who is currently about to become 27 dresses, I genuinely, this is the happiest stage of my life. And I can say that with absolute confidence. There is nothing, and I'm going to tear up talking about this just because, like, 2 of my best friends just got engaged. There is nothing that, I don't know why it makes me so emotional. There is nothing that makes me more happy than seeing the girls that I love the most and the girls that have just played such a huge role in my life being loved the way they deserve. Awesome. Like, genuinely, this is the happiest stage of my life because I am getting to watch the people that I love the most. And that, like I said, I haven't had a boyfriend, so all my love goes to my family and my friends, and specifically, like in this question, my friends. And getting to watch them be loved and start their dream, which is having the husband, is the happiest thing that I could ever be a part of. And it's the biggest honor. And girls, you will understand this one day. If you haven't been asked to be a bridesmaid yet in one of your best friend's wedding, it is the biggest honor you will ever have when they love you and cherish your friendship and cherish the memories, the time, the tears you've put into each other, that they want you to stand by their side as they make the biggest decision, profess the most important vows of their entire life. Like, there truly is no greater honor. And I think that comes kind of with our other question that we had, is I'm so secure in my timeline that, like, I don't need to be envious, because I know that, yes, I'm standing next to these girls for their time. When it's my time, they're going to be right there.
100%.
And I have no doubt that in all of these weddings I'm going to, I want to be so happy for them, and I am so happy for them because I know when my time comes, they're going to be the girls that are doing that for me. And I have no doubt in my mind that this season I'm in, it's only making me like so much more excited for the future. So yes, it's hard to sit there sometimes and watch, something that you want so bad. But it's not, you want it in that moment, but like, can you imagine when it's your turn? Like, they were in the same seat you were before. Like, you will get that turn if you have your eyes on Jesus and his plan and you are following his timeline. It's so, so hard to sit here unless you can't say this if you don't have faith. Like, I 1000% believe that. It is so hard to like want your timeline to be sped up, and you're like, I thought I'd be engaged at 24 and kids at 26 like 5 years ago, and I'm like, I turned 24 in a month, so it's not happening.
That reminds me of one of those, this is probably something you could buy at Canton on one of those wood placards and those cheesy things. So just cheese alert, it's coming.
Yeah.
But I do believe this is that it's what you're describing is God is never in a hurry, but he's always on time.
He's always on. There's a song.
Right.
I actually posted it on my all-girls story today. It's called Slower I Go. Jason, there is not a song that is more prevalent to my life right now. And it's a worship song. It's for like EAU worship, something like that. It's so good. But in the thing it says like that exact thing, like, God, your timing over mine because your timing is better. And my timing right now, my timeline is me being in these weddings, coming to these weddings single, not using my +1. Like, that is my timeline right now. My timeline 3 years from now could be the other way around. But as a girl, even if you're just a wedding guest and going to all these weddings, not even from a bridesmaid perspective, like, witnessing someone else, especially someone you loved, being loved the way they deserve is the biggest privilege.
Yeah.
Like, I am so happy, and like going to these weddings makes me happy. And of course I'm like, I can't wait for that to be me. Like, I also at the same time am so happy that I get to witness this because I love my friends so much and all the people who have taken the time to invite me to their weddings that I am so happy to see. Like, that's the only thing I can keep saying is I'm so happy for them. And it's okay for you to feel that in the back of your head. Like, when's it going to be me? But you need to have so much faith that like it will be you. But like, God's timing is the right timing. And I don't mean to turn this into a sermon, but that is so true. Like, it's taken me until recently to be like, slower I go.
Yeah.
Like, the slower I go, the faster. I need to see that. Hold on. I'm going to have to look this up because these lyrics, 1 second. It's like right at the top.
Here's the cool thing too, that like, since you're not married and you don't have a boyfriend, with the success of the Dad Boss podcast, imagine what it's going to be like when you do get married. It's going to be like a big event because Abby got married and we're going to get sponsors. Your whole wedding is going to be sponsored. I believe that.
Oh, you think so?
That's what this is all about, folks. Is getting Abby's wedding sponsored one day.
Okay. I would take an acquired style of PJ to St. Bart's. Anyways, the song says, I'll be soon to listen. It seems the slower I go, the faster I arrive.
I love that.
Like, that is so true. The more you sit here and ask God to give you something, especially if you're praying for patience, the more he's going to make you be patient. And like, that's not to sit here and, punish you. It's not a punishment. Patience is not a punishment. It is a virtue. And like, you also like girls, you can be like sitting here and you can be like, I'm ready. Like, God, I'm ready. I think I am ready. What if your person's not? Like, what if your person that you think you should be up on that aisle with, what if he still needs a little bit of tuning, a little bit of sharpening to be the person that you need?
100%.
Like, you don't hear his prayers to God. You don't hear him praying, God, let me be the man that she deserves.
Yeah.
And he's not there yet. And you just don't know that. But girls, if you're sitting there in your 27 dresses, it's the most fun stage of your entire life. I Thank you so much to my friends that are putting me in their weddings, and y'all know I'm going to be the most fun. I will have the bridal suite, music blaring, the bachelorettes are already planned. Ladies, I love y'all. This is the happiest stage of my life. I want to be a bridesmaid forever. So yeah, put me in your weddings if you need to hire a bridesmaid. I'm really fun. You can ask my friends. Okay, next. This is the last question, Jason. Okay, for you. What should we be doing as young girls to try to find a husband?
Great example. Okay, we touched on a lot of it today.
Yes.
Be the sort of wife, be the sort of woman that the sort of husband that you're looking for would find attractive the day he meets you and 10 years after knowing you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and
Oh,
that doesn't
so
mean,
good.
doesn't mean you have to be perfect. You're not.
Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying, know yourself and respect yourself enough to be able to say, I can do all these things. I can go out. I'm an independent single woman. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
But choosing not to. Here's a great example. A lot of people get confused about when Jesus preached to turn the other cheek.
Mm-hmm.
They think, well, that means that he was weak, a doormat, and we as Christians are supposed to just lay down, let people walk over us. No. What Jesus was saying was that even though he had the power to rain down all of God's fury at any time, he was the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. He chose not to. It's one of those deals like men, whenever they get confused, when we tell men, a man needs to be capable of extreme danger. That means he's strong, he knows how to, but he's not. He holds it back for the use of good, for protection. Mm-hmm. Ladies, be someone that you're so mindful of where you're going and the man that you're one day going to be with, that even though you could do all these things, you choose not to.
Yes.
You choose to be this woman that is worthy of, and again, it's not about him.
Just
it's
because
like,
you can be on OnlyFans doesn't mean you should.
or that, because after all, you are worthy of a man that you find worthy of you.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes. And you're more precious than rubies.
100%.
You are the missing rib.
100%. And another thing I would say, where do you find this guy? I don't know specifically, but I guarantee you there's clues.
Give you a couple places where you won't.
Yeah, you know where they're not.
Yes.
Go find out, like Abby was talking about, one of the things you were talking about, your circle of friends and everything, how you keep time. I used to do a speech to schools. I'd go to in RILA, the Rotary Youth Leadership Academy.
I was in
I'd go and speak. You were in RILA?
Yeah,
of
I was
course
a Riley
you were.
kid.
Of course you were. And I would always give my hula hoop speech, which is that, hey, not my hula hoop. Get out of my hula hoop. We have to have, imagine you live your life walking around with a hula hoop around you. Now, a hula hoop's pretty small. Not a lot of people can fit into a hula hoop. So you got to be careful with who you let in the hula hoop. And by the way, you're trying to get this thing to spin. It's hard enough to do it by yourself. So you got to have people that you can let in that are close enough to you that y'all can spin and the hula hoop stays up. So, ladies, as you're looking for this guy, find the areas where guys that meet your standards, where they are, where they hang out. I don't know where that might be. Obviously, the easy thing is to say church, but if you just roll up into a church.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, I think that's a great place to meet someone, but you're not going to meet someone if you're just going.
No.
Like, you have to put yourself in community groups. Like, you can't just be going once a week and being like, well, Mom, I didn't find my husband at church like you said I would. That is a totally different place to find your husband.
But I want to say one thing about.
And he is not in Washington, D.C.
No, he's probably not in Washington. But I will say this about the whole going to church thing is, a lot of the prosperity preachers, they love to point to, seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and these things shall be added unto you. And that means if you just pray, you do all the right things, then guess what? You're going to have a life of riches. And if I sounded like a certain preacher right then that was on purpose. But here's the deal. If in your seeking first his kingdom and his righteousness leads you to church, some sort of like dry happy hour where people that all a Bible study
A
or something,
wedding.
a wedding, and you're seeking first his kingdom and his righteousness, that you increase your odds of the riches of the guy you're looking for being added to you.
And also, to tag on that, your community.
100%.
The people you surround yourself with, you should think so highly of them to where they surround themselves with people like-minded. And they, like, if you are not a good friend if you don't choose to set your friends up. Like, and I'm someone who will die on that hill. If you know two people and you know them and you're like, they're single, and you're like, oh, those would really match up, and you don't even try the littlest bit to give those two people to each other, you're not bettering the Lord's kingdom, because that is like one of the biggest things ever. And I actually had someone in church tell me this. Like, you should look to your community, or the people you surround yourself with. Would you want to find a husband that would hang out with them? And if your answer is no, you're in the wrong community.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now, as someone, and people call me the matchmaker friend, like that, I'm on like 6 relationships right now, and one's about to get married. And like, I can tell you, you need to be putting your community within your community, because like, in setting them up, that is a great place. That is the best dating website you can go to, because you're choosing the people you surround yourself with. And if those aren't people that you would choose to spend the rest of your life with, you need to do some really deep thinking.
Yeah. No, I think we could do a whole episode
We should.
on
We can
that
do it.
with regard to,
Community.
choosing your friends and who you spend time with. And
Maybe that'll be next week.
yeah, that's so important. And, because Tim Ferriss used to always say this, and I guess he still does, is that you're the average of the 5 people you spend most time with.
Yes.
So if you're hanging out with 5 losers all the time, then guess what? You're gonna be dropped down to them. But it's like when you play tennis with somebody that's way better than you. They're gonna lift you up. If you hang out with 5 people that are disciplined, smart, that are ambitious, that share your worldview, then you will, in the aggregate, come to that level. It makes such a difference. And
community is everything.
100%.
It's the best. Like, and also dating apps are something we can totally talk about too. I don't personally believe in them. I think people that meet there, well, for me.
Did you know that the founder of Bumble married a guy from Tyler?
Yes, as we say, we talked about this.
Whitney Heard, that's right.
Yeah, we did. We talked about
That's
this.
right.
But I think social media is a great dating app in a sense, if that's what you're into. But I think your community, and I hope if you're listening, this makes you start thinking more. If you know an amazing guy that is truly a great guy, just not your guy, set them up with your friend.
Yeah.
That would find all of his attributes good. Same for the girls. If you know an amazing girl same for guys, like, you know an amazing girl that you know she's great, that's just not your girl, set her up with one of your friends. Like, you need to be doing that. First of all, if it's a godly relationship, all you're doing is bettering his kingdom, which is exactly what we were sent on this earth to do. And we are still on this earth to better his kingdom. If you're a Christian, that is one of the biggest things you can do, is create community from the fruit that the Lord has given you. And I think that, like I said, there's a lot of places to do that. And personally, I have never had good luck meeting someone at a bar. Like, all that leads to is, oh my gosh, you would not believe what happened to me last weekend. I forgot about this.
Really?
Like, I was telling my friends this, and like, they were genuinely so like mouth wide open that this happened.
Wait.
Should I just go? I mean, I'll just go ahead and tell you. He's never going to listen to this, but I don't even know his name because we didn't get that far. So he comes up to me and he was like, "What's your name?" And I told him, and before I could ask him what his name was, well, what do you do for work? And I short story told him, and he was like, "Well, where'd you go to school?" I was like, "Arkansas." And he was like, "Where do you live?" And I was like, "Oh, I live in Dallas now, but I'm from Paris, Texas originally." he was like, oh, like, where do you live in Dallas? What part? Which is a normal thing to ask because there's so many parts of Dallas.
Sure.
And I told him, and he was like, oh, well, let's just go there now. And I, like, literally,
Wow.
this is the 5th question. I haven't even gotten to ask.
So this isn't what we meant by assertiveness,
yeah,
maybe.
this is like,
this kind of
not what we meant.
unhealthy
And
assertiveness.
I was like, oh, no, thank you. Like, I don't really bring guys home. Like, just trying to be nice
This is
about
kind
it.
of how Josie's story started too with Donut
like,
Guy.
I don't really do that. And he was like, well, then you can just come home with me. And I was like, I also don't do that either. Like, I don't even know your name, first of all, and I would never do that. Like, and I was like, oh, I just don't really do that. He literally looks at me and says, you're boring, and walks away.
What a douche.
Well, first of all, I mean, that's not my husband anyways. My husband would never ask me to come home with him.
And what a douche.
From the bar.
Guys, that's douchey.
That's so douchey.
What a douchebag.
But I literally was like, you're the problem.
Yeah.
You were the reason why guys get a bad rep. It's because
100%.
that bad apple. And like the rest of the night, I was just like, I don't even want to talk to another man. Like, this is just like awful. And also, like, think about how that girl, thankfully, I'm very like like confident, and like I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. But I laughed about it. Imagine if a girl was not mentally stable and you said that to her. Like, like, your words have so much meaning you don't understand. That sends a girl in a spiral. And I feel like guys don't realize that. And like, that's why, that type of man, that's the guy you're going to meet 90% of the time at the bar. There's the other 10% that are just there because he doesn't want to be the boring friend and he wants to hang out with his friends, and that's the only place they can hang out, which is fine. And that's where you could meet a good guy. Or you get introduced to by friends. Like, the bars are not a bad place to meet people if you're there not with the intentions to have to be carried out.
Yeah.
But I think, and I know this is going to come up with a question, asking where to meet guys in your 20s, or guys for girls, vice versa. I would say, look in your community, ask your community. Don't be afraid. Right now, everybody's so afraid to be like, I'm ready for a relationship, because people will be like, well, it'll come in your timing. No, I'm ready, and I know it's going to come in the Lord's timing, but the Lord could be putting that on my heart to tell you that because you know someone.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm going to let people know, hey, I'm ready to get back in dating, like, or let people know, like, yeah, like, I think my heart's being prepared for something. Like, if you know anyone, let me know. Like, I'm open to a blind date or something. But, like, if someone tells you that, be on the lookout for them, but don't be afraid to tell the people around you that, because you don't know who they know, and you want to put that on their heart. And like, I don't know, I just feel like right now people are so, if somebody's like, yeah, I want a boyfriend, people are like, oh my gosh, he'll come when you least expect it. I hate when people tell me that. Like, that pisses me off, because I'm like, okay, well, I'm not expecting it. Obviously, it's been 24 years. Like, I'm not expecting anything really.
Right.
I'm just expecting you to know, have me on your radar, to know if like there's someone that you think is of my standard, to send them my direction.
Yeah.
And like, that's just me making you aware, because I trust your discernment.
Yeah.
And I trust your opinion. So if you know someone, let me know.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to say that, ladies. Tell the people you love, tell your family, tell your friends, look out for me. If you see anyone, if you know of anyone, it really, like, this is just, I love, like, my love language is like acts of service, words of affirmation, all that stuff. Like, there is nothing that, like, even if I know, like, I'm not going to like the guy, or like, I just know we're not meant to be. If a girl is like, I have someone I want you to meet, like, I think y'all really get along, nothing means more, because that means you took the time to learn my heart and learn what I want in a guy, and tried, like, you love me enough that you want to see me happy.
Yeah.
So I think that is a huge thing to do, is to be the matchmaker. It's so fun too. I'm about to go to a wedding where I set the two up, my two best friends, and I'm like, this is so fun. But
one of the things I want to say too, that now look, ladies, dudes as well, don't overthink what I'm about to say. But and this might be an experiment. You could try this. Mm-hmm. And maybe you do. Do you ever, before you go out to a bar or anything, do you ever play scenarios in your head and prepare? Do you ever set goals for that night out?
My friends listening.
Conversations that you want to have.
Oh.
Like if a dude that might be a green flag comes up, what you're going to say, how you're going to do it, like almost prepare. And here's where this is coming from. So I don't remember if it was Peter Boghossian or somebody. It was a PhD that talked about how, like, in networking or business dinners, or to have more constructive conversations.
Yeah.
That a lot of times we just make a phone call. We know the general topic and we make a phone call, but we have no preparation for the call.
Yeah.
If we go to a business meeting, we have no preparation for how we're going to respond or what our goals are for that meeting. What our goals, if you go to a networking event, walk in, because I hate small talk.
Yeah.
But once I started going into these random networking events with a goal for the meeting, like know 5 names, get to know 5 people really, really well, instead of just trying to, kind of just shotgun and meet as many people as possible. My goal is to walk into this networking event that I really don't want to be at anyway and know one person really well before I leave. What if you went to the bar and you at least had some modicum, not like, I'm going in here to find my husband. No, but I'm going in here to manage my alcohol consumption because I want to have at least one decent conversation, maybe with another chick that I just want to get to know. But a dude, like, is there any preparation whatsoever? I never did that, by the way. I never prepared when I was in college or out of, whatever.
I think only time girls really prepare is if there's a chance that the guy you already like is there.
Is going to be there.
And then all the girls are like, well, what do I do if he comes up to me, or what I do this? But, like, I don't think I think a lot of girls always in the back of their head when they're in that season of singleness is like, oh, what if I do meet him here? Like, and that's just because you're a woman.
Yeah.
And, like, you're just thinking. But I've never set myself down and been like, what if I meet my husband tonight? What am I going to say to him? Or, like, what if I meet a guy I want to pursue tonight? What do I say to him? Like, it's never been with somebody that I haven't previously met.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm like, oh, well, what if I see him? Like, how do I react or whatever? I haven't done it for somebody I haven't ever met, and I don't think a lot of girls do. If you do,
and I don't want to. And maybe that's extreme. There's probably.
But I think we think about having conversations, but I don't think, because, like, you never know what the guy's gonna ask.
Yeah, one of the things that I do, and probably I overthink this, is I'm very conscious of the takeaways that I want when I'm going into an event, a business meet, anywhere. If I'm going to go around people, I'm conscious of what I want people to take away after I'm gone. And one of the things, like, for example, one of the things I always want to do when I go into a setting like that is say, I want people to feel like that dude knows who I am.
Yes.
I don't want them to I don't want them to walk away going, God, I know everything there is to know about that guy.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't shut up about myself.
Yeah.
And so I think if you just, like, I don't know, again, you're going out to have a good time. It can't always be, all right, girls, we're going out and maybe our husband's there, and dudes, we're going out, maybe my wife's there. But at a minimum, just kind of in the back of your mind, go, okay, I'm going out, going to have fun, but also I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to maintain enough self-control, be conscious. I'm not going to slur. I'm not, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to have so much to drink because, I may want to make a good impression on somebody tonight.
Yeah, I like, just for, like, work purposes, I don't really go anywhere without, in public like that, like in big social settings, without, like, I don't really like drink as heavy as I did in college because of my work. Because I could run into somebody and there's my job.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I did a podcast on this a while back about how
don't get drunk at work event.
Well, no, just don't even. For me at this point, and this is extreme, but I don't drink at all anymore.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I stopped drinking at work events a long time ago. Just even if it was just like one drink, because it just lubricates you just enough to where you might let your defenses down and say something. I don't know. There's just, to me, it's like I've never regretted going somewhere and not drinking. I've never woke up the next day going, God, if only I'd had 3 scotch and sodas. Boy, this would be that would have been a lot better meeting. So
I totally agree.
Well,
I think like that was a long one.
That was good.
Yeah,
that
guys.
was good stuff. So, and by the way, like, find Abby for now until we get all the social set up for Dad Boss and everything.
It's Abby A. Neilson, all my socials.
Abby A. Neilson. DM questions. We would love some more and some comments. If either of us said anything,
Or if you have questions off of what.
100%. If there's follow-up questions or anything. And by the way, I want to say something real clear. It's kind of obvious that we come at this from a Christian worldview. If you're someone listening to this and you are not at all a believer, you never, or maybe you just, nothing about Christianity, it's okay. This podcast, that's just where we're coming from.
Yeah.
And if you have questions about that, like, I don't understand this about the Bible or something like that, reach out.
Even better, yeah.
And you are.
If we can't answer it, we know someone who can.
Right. And you're welcome here. Don't think that this is going to be like, oh, well, I'm not a Jesus freak, so I better not listen to that podcast.
I'm not a Christian conservative.
No. Listen. I think the advice and the topics are going to be beneficial to anyone and everyone listening. At least that's
so. And be nice too. Don't roast me.
I think you're going to be just fine.
I'm going to get cooked. Okay.
All right. With that, I'm out. You're
Bye,
out.
guys.
Bye. Thanks.
How